Excuse me. Just had to get that out. Anyways, figured today may be worth looking at something interesting. Probably not, but you probably already played it. This is Tetris and Dr Mario for the Super Nintendo. 2 games in 1, it says. 1 or 2 players, which, well, that's always a nice little feature. You can probably tell this is a 16-bit upgrade of 2 games. Tetris and Dr. Mario, which were originally released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The box one that came out in '85. But not only that, if you want, you can consider it a 16-bit color version of Tetris and Dr. Mario on the Nintendo Game Boy. Do you know what a Game Boy is, boys and girls? Can you spell Game Boy? G-A-M-E-B-O-Y. There's supposed to be letters popping on the bottom, but chances are I'm not going to put them in because I'm lazy. Let's forget that. You know what I'm talking about, right? So we're going to look at this. We might look at that sometime in the future, but for now let's just look at this. And yeah.
So this is Tetris and Dr. Mario, or is it Dr. Mario and Tetris? The game doesn't know what it's talking about. What's it called? I'm mumbling here, but anyways, long story short, this is a compilation of Tetris and Dr. Mario for the Super Nintendo, and we'll just skim through all the games quickly. Tetris, you can play 1 player, 2 player, or against a computer, which is an improvement over the Nintendo version. The official NES version from Nintendo, which you only played 1 player. The music and some of the sound effects, for the most part, is taken from the Game Boy versions of Tetris and Dr. Mario. So there's no Nutcracker Suite from the NES version for anyone who rather has that particular folk song. But in any case, just going to skim through the gameplay here. There's not really much to say. If you've played Tetris before, you already know what to expect, especially this version. If you haven't played Tetris yet, I don't know what's wrong with you, but basically the whole idea is that you have to create dropping blocks into a well, and you have to create lines, like so. The more lines you build, the more points you gain, and as you progress in the Type A game, every 10 blocks increases the level, and the blocks fall faster until you fill the screen and the game ends. There's 2 types of games in Tetris: a Type A, Type B. Type B is basically you have to clear 25 screens. 25 screens. Sorry, I'm really out of it. 25 lines, and then if you do accomplish this task, you get a nice little ending. Well, at least on the Nintendo version. In the Nintendo version, or even the Game Boy version, you had a little cutscene that would play. Usually a ship would launch into the sky or something. And this is also evident if you gain a high enough score in the A-type game in the Tetris. Here, they just show a rotating block, which is pretty much the only technical prowess of the Super Nintendo at play here. For the most part, the game is just... There's not to say there's much of an improvement here, because it's just Tetris. It's more colorful, certainly more colorful. There's more. The music, it sounds a little better. Everything is just a little better in terms of presentation, but the gameplay is all the same. And this is the incredible rotating block on the Super Nintendo that replaced the glorious launching of the Russian castle into the sky if you got a high enough score. No, that really happened on the Nintendo version, but that's like the only downside of the game. But other than that, it's classic Tetris as you remember it on the Nintendo and on the Game Boy. And just for a bit of variation, here's Dr. Mario, which has been ported on virtually every Nintendo system ever conceived in the history of mankind. In fact, I don't know any system. GameCube maybe doesn't have a Dr. Mario. I could be wrong. I know Virtual Boy doesn't have a Dr. Mario. They do have Tetris in 3D, but let's not dwell on that. In any case, if you haven't played Dr. Mario, again, it's on every Nintendo system out there, and you know, not that hard to come across these days. Basically, the whole idea behind Dr. Mario is, you're matching the vitamins. As you can see, you're matching the vitamins with the viruses of the similar colors. And once you kill all the viruses in the jar, you move on to the next level, and every 5 levels you have a little cutscene that plays. Like like Tetris, the most of the audio is based on the Game Boy version of Dr. Mario. Especially the last little bit of the song that's playing now wasn't on the Nintendo version. That's one of the disadvantages of doing like a live recording as opposed to like pre-edited. But whatever. Anyways, not really much to say. Again, it's Dr. Mario. The gameplay's relatively intact. There's not really much being changed here. It's just the graphical and audio facelift implemented to this game, and it does sound a little better. Not the best upgrade ever, but it's not bad. It sounds good. In a way, I almost prefer this off. I screwed up that one. Christ. Anyways, I didn't pick out this footage because of the incredible gaming prowess that's on display here. I picked out this footage because I want to show you the other ending that you get with Dr. Mario. Every 5th level you get a little cutscene. Normally the cutscene comprises the 3 viruses sitting on a tree or something like that. I don't remember, but it wasn't. That's not what you're getting in the Super Nintendo version. In the Super Nintendo version you get Sad Virus, who's sad because he's not rotating like the Tetris block in the other game, which is sad. Which is the only real disappointing thing on the Super Nintendo version, is that they didn't convert the endings or like the intermission scenes when you reach success in the various modes. So with the slowed fade, we go to the mixed game mode, where you see I'm customizing options here. This is a strictly 2-player marathon mode, where you basically go through the 3 variations of video games. You start off with the B-type Tetris, and then you move on to the Dr. Mario game, and then the final round is the A-type, which is the infinite running game marathon mode. And whoever wins, wins. This is a strictly 2-player mode, which means I'm going to be playing by myself while the second player is constantly dying because there's nobody else on the other side. Sorry folks, but my budget doesn't allow for a second player to play with me. It happens. Wait, did I just say that mention a budget? In any case, I'm not even going to try with the gameplay. Should you get this collection? If you could find it cheap enough, sure, why not? I mean, it's certainly not bad. Like, it's certainly, if you have it on Nintendo or Game Boy or anything like that, personally, there's no reason to get it. Like, there's really, like, for me, the only couple of incentives, there's only like 2 incentives to getting this version, and that's only if you want both games on one cartridge, or if you actually care about the graphical 16-bit upgrade and the sound upgrade, and 2-player Tetris that isn't unlicensed engine. Actually, you know what? Why not? It's not, it's Tetris, it's Dr. Mario. It's good. It's good for a fun time. You can't go wrong with those games. You know, and even today they're still making versions and variations. You know, Tetris especially, you know, is being ported constantly everywhere. You know, from the current Game Boy systems to Xbox Live to like even mobile phones and keychains. That's everywhere. Dr. Mario is still a game that's relatively active. That while it has evolved in some places with different modes, it's still, you know, the same game that was introduced many years back. So, you know, if you come across this, why not? It's not so bad. You can find it cheap enough, sure. So, yeah, that's it. This is getting set to watch now. I'm going to cut this off here. So, yeah, final thoughts. Yeah, if you find this laying around for a few bucks, why not? Unless you already have the games on Nintendo or on Game Boy, in which case there's really no point. Or if you want the novelty of having both games on one convenient cartridge. And that's it, I'll end it there. Anyways, good night.